You're watching ESPN, the worldwide leader in wrestling. Well, wait, what? Sir, may I talk to you for a minute, sir? Hold on. Sir, excuse me, I don't mean any harm. I'm not telling you how to do your job, but I think you gave me the wrong lines. This is supposed to be you're watching ESPN, the worldwide leader in... Wait, when did we start covering wrestling? I've never known ESPN to do that. Huh? No, these can't be the right lines. It surely is a misunderstanding, you know? Covering wrestling? Dude, wrestling's not even a real sport, you know? Wrestling is... What? Hold up, what, I'm fired? You're not even paying me. How are you gonna fire me? You're not even paying me. But wait, come here. What'd you say? No. Kick me out. No. Wait, no. Stop. Get. No, you're here for my lawyer. That's right, everybody. We have to talk about this landmark deal between WWE and ESPN. What does that mean for the wrestling consumer? What does that mean for the sport of wrestling? What does it mean for the business of sports? Also, too, John Cena, the once most vile heel in all of WWE, goes back to what he once was, Super Cena, the greatest babyface in all of WWE at the moment. Big pop after SummerSlam when he finally turned back face. What does that mean for John Cena's farewell tour? Was his heel turn a failure? All of this we're going to talk about on this podcast here called Quick Hits for Fan of Sport Tuesday. If you're new to the show, what's good? I'm Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty, and I am a fan of sport. And every Tuesday, I drop an episode with some unique conversation in the field of sports. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let's hit that theme music. Let's go.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly.
So ESPN and WWE have made it official. They have a partnership. The deal is worth $1.6 billion, and the deal will be over 5 years. The major PLEs, including SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and of course the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania, will be on ESPN. Pre and post shows will be on ESPN. The minor PLEs as well, like your Saturday night main events, they will be simulcast on ESPN. And the direct-to-consumer app that will be starting on August 21st of this month. The WWE programming will start in January of 2026, of course, just in time for the Royal Rumble. That's when the PLE schedule will be beginning for the WWE. Peacock, of course, was the former provider for all the PLEs for WWE. First and foremost, shout out to ESPN for not only getting wrestling, getting WWE, but collecting some valuable things with the NFL. You got NFL Red Zone that is going to be belonging to ESPN. They can do whatever they want to with Red Zone. They can do it for college football. They can do it for the NFL. The NFL Network is going to be on ESPN. They're going to get 7 more regular season games. And then fantasy football, all will be with ESPN. This direct-to-consumer app is going to be insane. ESPN was like the Washington Mystics and the WNBA trade deadline. They were making moves. They gained more than they gave. Tons of sports are going to be on this app, along with the NFL and along with the WWE. And surprise, surprise, ESPN finally in 2027 will have the Super Bowl. ESPN is living up to their name as the worldwide leader in sports. And second of all, shout out to Brian H. Waters of Wrestling Realm for his video breaking down the ESPN and WWE partnership on his YouTube channel called Wrestling Realm. Make sure you follow them. That's Wrestling WREALM, Wrestling Realm. Go see him and his constituents, the real Dwayne Allen, Brandon the Guy, and the super producer H to the A to the S to the T to the H to the E to the 3 to the R to the D, has the third on Wrestling Realm. They have great wrestling insight. They have a Tuesday night show. They will entertain you. They know what they're talking about when it comes down to wrestling. Great wrestling minds. Make sure that you watch them and you subscribe to their YouTube channel. Now, Brian H., he's a former employee of ESPN. He talked about how ESPN, they flirted with WWE over the years, starting WrestleMania 31, had Brock Lesnar on the show. They've had Cody Rhodes and John Cena, all of those guys on ESPN talking about WrestleMania, during WrestleMania season, talking about these marquee matches, but nothing has really been like on paper, set in stone with a partnership until now. Now, I agree with Brian H. with what he's talking about on his video. I call professional wrestling the ultimate gentleman's sport. There are people that look at me crazy when I consider wrestling a sport. Yes, there's entertainment in wrestling. They have the predetermined outcomes, things of that nature. There are people out there who don't look at wrestling as a sport, and that's okay. I get it. That's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. I think they're wrong. But with this deal happening, wrestling is now looked at as a credible and viable sport now. Like it or not, for those who don't watch wrestling or don't like wrestling, highlights of WWE PLEs are going to be on SportsCenter. How amazing is that? Imagine top plays. You might see Seth Rollins on there, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, a host of other WWE superstars. We might have an analyst that specializes in talking wrestling, recaps of PLEs, flagship shows. This is what wrestling fans have been dreaming about. The show, the wrestling being viable, being talked about, mentioned as a true sport, the way that we see it. Pro wrestlers are going to be sharing screen time with the likes of Shohei Ohtani, Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Connor McDavid as a viable true sport. Imagine, and this is a nostalgic trip for me. I'm a nostalgic guy, but what if the Hardys could have this? What if Edge and Christian, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, HBK, those guys there with their highlights over their careers? That would have been cool. This move is groundbreaking for all of sports, not just wrestling, but for sports, period. Now, with the good comes the bad. Now, I know that everybody knows that there is going to be some money involved in this. Now, I have Hulu. I'm good. But for those out there who don't have cable or a satellite provider, you have to pay $29.99 for the ESPN app. For the WWE fan, it's going to cost a pretty penny. You got Netflix where you watch Monday Night Raw. Then you're going to have the ESPN app to cap the PLEs, to track the PLEs. You may have to have Peacock because Peacock is going to try to get SmackDown, try to get NXT. NXT is on the CW for the time being. But if Peacock does what I think they'll do, they're going to try to get SmackDown and NXT. And then they'll have the Vault, of course. They're going to have all of your PLEs from the past on Peacock. You're going to have to pay some money. Now, with all that being said, you guys remember, the WWE Network, don't you? All of that and more for only $9.99. All your nostalgia, all your present stuff going on with WWE, all your programming, your PLEs, everything. $9.99, and you still were not satisfied. I tell you, we as fans, American fans, and I'm American, of course, I'm an American fan. We got to understand this right here. We can be so ungrateful, so entitled, and so spoiled with all of the sports that we get at our disposal. Brandon the Guy, mouthing off of Mike and myself, we're talking about this when we were watching Bash in Berlin. We were talking about how us American fans are so entitled and we're ungrateful for what we get. But the European fans, they went nuts watching WWE live, getting a live event. We got to take a page from that. Now, when I saw that this was going to be $30 a month, I thought, and I'm like, you know what? I bet you miss the WWE Network now, don't you? So for those out there who bash it, how y'all doing out there? Say what's up in the comments. Say what's good, But my thoughts on this right here. We all know why WWE did this. Wrestling has become more and more popular. I was a lad, and I got to see the Monday Night Wars. I got to see all of that and how great that was, the competition between WCW and WWE. I'll be talking about that later on. We can correlate that with other sports. I've got an idea on a video talking about competition in sports and how that creates the money and what that does for sports. But with WWE getting more and more popular, going around the world, that means one thing: expansion. WWE is mainstream. So this is another way to make more money. As a fan of sport, you have to understand, wrestling, as well as any sport, is a business. Cut and dry. But last but not least, TKO, as a whole, what WWE is with TKO, with UFC, all of them, TKO, they're eating, yet again, $7.7 billion deal with Paramount to host the UFC events on Paramount Plus. TKO, they've been eating for the past 7 days, with WWE, and then with this UFC deal that they just signed. Let me know how you feel about this. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Is this going to be a successful move for WWE? Going to ESPN with this ESPN app that's going to cost $29.99. Is this going to be good for WWE or is it not? Is this going to be something that's going to deter the wrestling fan away from WWE as a whole? Let me know. Let's open up the floor for discussion. Until we go into the next part of the show, I'm going into the next segment. This is a time where we can take a commercial break, but don't you touch that dial. Go ahead and subscribe to the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. Go through the plethora of podcasts that we have in the field of TV and movies, sports, and sports entertainment. We have live podcasts. We have solo podcasts on your major sports, on your Major League Baseball, on your NBA, on your NFL. We've got shows for college as well, too. We've got team podcasts as well, too. The Dallas Cowboys are covered on here. I'm not a fan of them, but my man Michael Davis and his father, Mac, do a podcast for the Dallas Cowboys, our TV and movie podcast as well, too. My man Sean Lucas with It Stinks. We've got some great entertainment for you this sports season. We haven't gotten to the sports season full swing. We've got Major League Baseball playoffs coming up. We've got the NFL season coming up. We've got the NHL season. I got something cooked up for you here for this show, Quick Hits. Right now I'm doing Fan of Sport Tuesday, but I'm also doing the WNBA podcast on Friday. I got something cooked up for the WNBA podcast this Friday. Got a lot to talk about from this past weekend in the WNBA. But keep it locked here on Boom Broadcasting. We're going to go into the next segment. Now let's talk some actual wrestling right here. The promo before SummerSlam on SmackDown had John Cena looking like he was going to make that turn, and y'all know the turn I'm talking about. Now, me, I didn't buy it at first. I thought Cena was going to stay a heel for a little longer, hold on to that belt. We get to SummerSlam. Cody has the match with John Cena, the story unfolding in front of us in the form of wrestling. We see John Cena going back to his old self. The match ends with Cody winning the championship. John Cena congratulates him, and Brock Lesnar comes out to attack John Cena on Monday Night Raw on Netflix the next day. John Cena comes out. You hear the music. He's talking to the camera. He shows the towel. He throws that towel. Time to go to work. He sprints out to the ring, and everybody gets on their feet. They cheer. Super Cena is back. All is right with the world. Which brings me to some questions. Was John Cena's heel turn a bust? His heel turn was absolutely not a bust. The turn was absolutely epic. But the heel run, to me, it was short-lived. I felt like Cena was going to keep the heel run going. I think he was doing well with the promos, with what he was doing as a heel. Now, when John Cena turned face, I was looking for the IWC to go absolutely nuts and talk about how WWE fumbled John Cena's farewell tour by turning him back face. I was waiting on that, and it did not disappoint me at all. The heel turn was something that we wanted for years. We watched John Cena be the face, and many people turning against him as a face. I talked about it on a separate episode of Quick Hits. Go back and watch it. It was from March. Go back and watch. But we were not going to get a Vince McMahon era John Cena heel. We were not going to get that. That's something that everybody has begged for. Triple H, the Triple H era, gives us what we've been wanting for years. And why weren't you satisfied? Why not? I don't understand, but let's get back to the heel run. Let's be honest. No one really wanted to cheer John, and they didn't want to boo John Cena during his farewell tour. They don't want to boo him. John Cena was doing great heel work. He was a heel that everybody enjoyed. They loved him as a heel. I think of John Cena's heel run like that time that WWE decided to turn another babyface heel. You remember him, from the Attitude Era. They tried to turn Stone Cold Steve Austin into a heel, and it did not work. It was an atrocious heel run. The turn was incredible, but that heel run was atrocious because Stone Cold was not a viable heel. John Cena cut some scathing promos, talking to the crowd, talking to other wrestlers. He was doing some heelish things. He was doing really, really well. I liked this heel run. But when Travis Scott got intertwined into it, The Rock got intertwined into it, that's where it started to become very, very weird. That's where things started becoming skewed. That's where the heel run got into a standstill because there was really nothing to build off of because of that. Now, John Cena, he was able to propel Cody Rhodes into being a viable champion, giving him a great rival of who to go against, get that title of prestige. Of course, John Cena was able to break the record from Ric Flair, 17-time champion, considering and putting him as the GOAT. All-time champion, 17 title reigns. Cena was able to get that as a heel. He propelled Cody Rhodes, and he had like an Ebenezer Scrooge experience. Ghost of Christmas Past, CM Punk Randy Orton getting the Ghost of Christmas Present from Cody Rhodes and the Ghost of Christmas Future going up against Logan Paul, giving us matches, being a stepping stone for other wrestlers in a time where people get so angry because wrestlers from the past, older wrestlers, headline events. Looking at you, Bill Goldberg. Taken away from a younger talent, a up-and-comer. And John Cena is giving us some nostalgia along with a peek into the future of some of these wrestlers here. What more can you ask for as a wrestling fan? What more could you ask for? Now, could things have been different in this heel run? Absolutely. I felt like the heel turn would have been a lot better at WrestleMania instead of at Elimination Chamber. I think that it should have taken place at WrestleMania. And even if they did turn John Cena heel at Elimination Chamber, which they did, in my opinion, the double turn at SummerSlam, just like they did with Bret Hart and Stone Cold, like they did with Hogan and The Rock, having that double turn would have been bananas at SummerSlam. I think that the heel run, I think the heel run could have been better. But I understand what WWE was doing with Cena's farewell tour. Cena gave the fans what they wanted, gave them a heel turn, and then gave them a face turn. And at the end of the day, everybody won. For those wrestling fans out there that are extreme about this and feel like this was a failure and felt like WWE did the wrong thing, I get it. I understand. I'm not mad at that. But for those that like a happy ending, it was great seeing John Cena run out to the ring again and be his old self, be what he once was. Sometimes everything we want is not everything we need as fans. Hence, John Cena turning back face is why professional wrestling is the ultimate gentleman's sport. Let me know how you feel about the turn. Was the turn necessary? Was John Cena's heel run bad? Was it good? What did you like? What did you not like? Am I wrong about this? Am I right about this? Let me know in the comments. For more on Boom Broadcasting, check these videos right here on Boom Broadcasting. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Get the algorithm going. Make sure, if you haven't already, get on the Boom train. We have more coming for you in the coming months as the sports continue, as the TV and movies are being made. We have more to come here on Boom Broadcasting. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. And I'll see you on Friday with some WNBA content. And there will be more throughout the week. Until then, I'm Shannon Smith. And this is Quick Hits.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly